Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. So today is going to be a few tips, not even tips, but my story of how I really was able to change my mindset, my reality, and everything in between. I do not want to appear as though I was so smart, so divine in my that I woke up from a dream and had all these answers. Now I woke up and said, I want to change my life. I don't want to repeat this last decade, literally. But it was a process. It took years. And above all, I had fun with this journey once I kind of figured out that if I say it, it is. So I'm not going to keep going back and forth, doubting myself, being afraid of my success, being afraid of what if this doesn't work out? What if that doesn't work out? What if I don't make it? What if I fail? Blah, 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 blah. There was no such thing as failure after a certain point. Anything that even looked like an inkling of disappointment, a setback, not kind of how I planned it, I would be like, no, something better has to and will come from this. Obviously, I wasn't meant to do it that way, or obviously this door is being closed because only the best comes to me. Okay, so I consider this like the creative and learning process of my turnaround. If you know anything about my story, my late 20s, in a nutshell, I was like, I got 2 kids. I'm a single mom. I can't keep living like this. I don't recognize myself. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I ain't doing this in my 30s. This is not what I was brought here to do. This is not what I was brought here to experience. And if I don't get it together, the only thing I'm going to keep doing is going down and teaching my daughters that this is the reality. And this is not, no, life is too grand, too beautiful, and too amazing and expansive to be suffering. And so that's another thing that helped me talk to myself as if almost self-parent and self-encourage, because when I look at my daughters in the eyes, and if they were to ever ask me in the mirror effect of like, what, Mom, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'd be like, no, you too good. We're not accepting that. We're not doing this. You have to look at yourself in the same way. You wouldn't tell someone that you loved and truly care for. If you don't have kids, maybe you have God kids. Maybe you have a niece, a nephew, or some little kids that, you look to like, oh, they're so cute. And you only want the best for them. You want them to see the world, to just be full of opportunities and, things to look forward to. You don't want to help them sign themselves up for a whole bunch of BS and drama. Okay. So going back to, I wrote down my list. I want to stay on topic and not get down my little rabbit holes and see if we can keep this under 30 minutes. So first of all, I was open to change. I cannot stress that I had to change my mindset. If I was a person that was very stubborn, very I know it all, and, just not teachable, I think that would have stood in the way of me even being receptive to things that I began running into and learning that were kind of hard to swallow. Like, is that true? Is that really what I'm doing? Is that really how this is going? But I was so tired of myself that I was like, what else do I have to lose? If nothing else, just pick up this book, look at this article, listen to this podcast or this speaker and say, let me consider this. So being open-minded and getting out of your comfort zone of what you don't know and understanding that there's so many things that you don't know and that's okay is, I think, the starting point. And the mindset behind, you can learn new things. You can implement change. You can expand. People aren't just born smart. That's a fixed mindset. When you believe that, if you're not born smart, if you're not born creative, if you're not born talented, if you're not born, then that's just it for you. That's not true. Anything can be developed and cultivated, but you have to be willing. So going back to that and piggybacking off of that, learning from other people, I looked at women and I watched women that were where I wanted to be. And I thought a couple names, especially from the YouTube world. And these women are doing other things too. They have courses, they have books, they have things that they're doing. What is her last name is Pope. Crap. She's on YouTube, and she has a more of a Christian background, but there's still a lot of truths in religious foundational principles. Her first name will come to me. Who else? Whose other name can I throw out there? Eva Monroe was inspiring to me. She is on YouTube. Who is not on YouTube but has a podcast? What is her name? I'll put the list of people down below. I'm coming on strong. Like, I got a whole list of people now. I can't think of anybody. But basically, all these different women were at different phases of their life, had certain successes or the confidence or the different viewpoints and life experiences that they shared that seemed very authentic, very relatable. And I drew from that. I really drew from that. The Universe Guru, she's another huge one that, even though there's some cultural difference there, the principles are like, you cannot dispute the principles. She was one that really had me looking at relationships in a very different way early on, before I could even like, okay, well, I'm not in that position right now, but something that I won't repeat, you know what I mean? Something that I'll look out for, you know what I mean? Something that, just to keep in the back of my mind. Now, what you do when you learn, even from me, let's say you listen to me and I may say something that's inspiring. I may not relate play by play to everything that you're going through. Just like, no two lives are the same. We're not all the same. But I took bits and pieces and morphed it and changed it into what I needed it to be for me. That's that, chew up the meat, spit out the bones. You take what you need and make it your own. And so I was able to, you don't have to be by the book. Or someone says, you do this, 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 and this. 5 tips to be successful in a relationship. 5 tips to be successful in your business. 10 laws and rules and all. Okay, you can take 3 of them rules, 3 of them principles, 3 of those tips and implement them. The rest that doesn't apply or doesn't work with you or doesn't set right with you or you don't agree, forget it. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty in being able to be teachable, trying new things, but not getting all into a tizzy that everybody doesn't agree with you and everybody. Let's go back to the Universe Guru. So culturally, they get married quicker. They have a very different reality than someone like me. Okay, their traditions are different. Their upbringing is different. Their everything. Okay. So, am I going to be over here comparing myself to her experience, her journey, because she said she got married in less than a month? No, I'm not going to lose my shit over that. I'm not even going to compare. That's not how we do. But that doesn't make me wrong and it doesn't make her wrong. What I can identify with her story is that she was married, she got divorced, she was a single mom, and she said, I got to do this different. I got to do this different from me, and I got to do this different from my child. I can identify with that, okay? But when I say you take bits and pieces of things that work and do not work for you, you make sure that the things that you're like, not for me, you're making sure that you're not, what's the word? Like, looking over maybe your comfort zone, looking over some bad habits, looking over some things that you are doing that are really going to be self-sabotage, or what did I jot down? Reverting. You don't want to revert to what you're used to. So let me use this as an example. You're listening to someone and the advice is dressing better, dressing more feminine, pulling your best self together, playing on your attributes that you love most about you. Okay, if you don't like your nose, fine, leave your nose alone, play up your eyes. If you don't like your eyes, fine, leave your eyes alone, do your hair. Okay, you don't like doing your nails, do your eyebrows. Whatever works for you. We're not here to debate. People get all into, well, I don't wear makeup, or I don't wear wigs. Just find what works for you. Do what works for you. Perfect what works for you. All the way down to clothes. We can argue about clothes, high-waisted pants or low-rise, whatever. If you got a tummy, wear the jeans and the pants that take away from the focus of you not feeling comfortable about your tummy. If you got a flat stomach and you can rock low-rise, fine, do that. We're saying it's not about, all the little fine details. It's what works for you. So if all these women, a collective movement of women that are trying to empower this generation, are saying, look your best, you will feel your best. Dress your best, dress professional, dress, like you got some sense, dress like you not, out here trying to sell something, dress like you take yourself seriously, look like you are about something and you are somebody you want to be treated with respect. That is what that is the advice. And you're like, but it should be about what's on the inside that counts. My man doesn't like makeup. I don't think that that's important. That's where you're cutting yourself off from, you're back in your comfort zone and your mindset is not ready to learn and implement something that is going to be challenging, something that's going to be new. You're not used to making it a habit of getting up every day, putting something on your face, doing something more than just splashing water and running out the door, doing something than just grabbing a oversized t-shirt, some leggings and sneakers, or some, oversized tracksuit, jumpsuit, sweatsuit, whatever. You are set on, well, I don't want to, it shouldn't be about what's on the outside, but it does. So that's a difference between, are you really teachable? Are you really willing to try something new, change what you've been doing to get a different result and get different effects, get better effects? There's a difference there. So when I say, listening to advice out there and then creating a fine line between what you want to implement and what doesn't work for you. So again, if I were inspired by someone that says, I did it like this, and I'm like, well, culturally, that doesn't make sense for me. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? So let's get back to my list. I took a deep breath and I had fun with this. I did not take all of this advice that I was learning over months and years and just overwhelm myself and say, oh my God, like I'm not there yet. Life is not worth living until I'm there yet. It's like, I had fun with it every phase of the way. Even before I saw any physical evidence in my life of like, okay, this is working. I think this is working, because it was so new. I was more interested in like, wow, I got to figure out, let's go back to clothes. All right, I need to dress better and I want to put my best face forward. What does that look like? What colors work for me? What lipsticks work for me? What do I want to do with my hair? That's when it was exploring sister lock. So I was more excited about that. Like, okay, I'm 4'11". My body shape is this, like this. What clothes work for my body shape? What clothes play up this, that, and the other? What clothes elongate my clothes elongate my legs? I'm not trying to be, like a model that's 6'2" and got a long torso and is fair skinned, because her color palette, her tips and tricks and wardrobe pieces are not going to work for me. So I was excited about discovering and piecing together like the new me. Again, back to colors. Like every color is not going to look good on me. That's okay. That's okay. It's about you, not comparing, not losing your shit because, okay, you don't have a perfectly contoured nose now. Okay, so maybe I should look into plastic surgery. No, we're working with what you've got and loving what you've got. So I had fun with this process and doing little by little what I could. You know what I mean? Obviously, I didn't have all the money in the world, but what I could do, I would buy something here, something there. I would have wish lists. Whenever someone gifted me money or asked me what I wanted, I would be like, I would love to go shopping, or here's my online, whatever. My birthday came around, I got stuff for my birthday, That's kind of how that built up. And then, of course, as I started making more money, I was able to do more. Okay. So it wasn't about one day when I get all the money, one day when I'm remarried, one day when I, have everything I need, then I'll feel all the success. No, I scaled it back and I still tried to create, special moments and that feeling and buy, like I said, whatever I could in the moment and feel the feels then. Talked myself up then. Okay, I got one pair of new jeans. These are $80 pair of jeans, but they are form fitting. They are slender, this, that, and the other. They play up this, they long this, and I love these pair of jeans. Next time, I'll go back and get another pair of pants that do whatever I need them to do. Okay? So you don't beat yourself up about not having it all at once. You enjoy the journey. It's like taking a scenic road trip to your dream vacation. You're not always like, oh, are we there yet? You're like, oh, look at this, look at that. And then we're going to stop. I'm going to get some food and we're going to, get some souvenirs. We're going to enjoy this little town and we'll get back in the car, do another 4 or 5 hours. You know what I mean? You're kind of enjoying the journey. Practice. There were times when I would do a look and I'm like, this is not it. I would buy a product and I'm like, whew, okay, that did not work for me. Again, but being open and, going back to the drawing board and say, okay, I'll just try this. I'll just do this. That's the fun in it. The discovery process. Deciding on what my purpose, what I was creating, what my passion and everything in between was going to be. This isn't just about the physical or about the level up. This is about, again, I was doing a whole life reset. So, I stopped putting this unnecessary pressure on myself of like, I never had this like one thing that I knew I was meant to do. I never had this one clear thing. It evolved as I evolved. And sometimes I would be like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to try. It's not up to for someone else. It's not being hidden from me. And I have to like get on my knees and just keep asking for it to come somehow. It was more of a thing of just kind of like, I think this is what I feel like doing. I feel like starting a business. I feel like starting a product line for moms. And so I made these breast pads. I made this nursing balm that was organic and all, healthy and all this other stuff. And I did that for a while. I had a website and I had my products in Nubian Human in Anacostia, DC. I, did farmers markets, and you go all the way down. You'll see these videos are still up. That's kind of what I was into. Skip ahead, I had another idea for this mom cooperative mastermind thing, this kid-friendly thing, and I had hosted these things in Alexandria, Virginia. I did that for a while. Then I got into healthcare, and I loved patient care, and I loved patient advocacy. I did that for a little while. So you see how it might not be one thing, and you might not even be clear on what you want to try. But if you keep the focus on you and your happiness and what makes you feel good, you're going to do a lot of different things. So cutting myself some slack in that sense and looking back and saying, it's not that I didn't get a degree. It's that I was interested in so many different degrees. Maybe that was not the time to pick a discipline. Okay. Pick that one thing. Maybe I need a degree that is a little bit more fluid. Maybe I need a degree that's a little bit more general so that I can use all my skills and talents and interests at the same time. So that's when I kind of veered away from nursing, because I was like, maybe nursing is going to box me in. Maybe nursing is not what I need in this next season of my life. So you see the difference of just being able to, you're always creating your own reality. It's only up to you. Life does not just happen randomly. And if it does, it doesn't feel good. And like me, if you're anything like me, I was like, I don't recognize what the hell is going on. I don't know how you got here. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but it doesn't feel good. And I'm not in control of me. Not in control of what they said and what they're doing and how that person is driving, but I'm talking about me. So this whole journey of my self-love and my self-care affected all these different things. So this was my financial, this was my mental, this was my physical appearance and my confidence. This was my health. This was my, did I say spiritual? And this was like, what I'm all about, being a mother, how I show up as a mother, how I look as a mother, how I show up with, in the social aspect of my life. How am I dating? How am I, what is my connection with my friends? Who are my friends now? Because if I'm changing, they may change, or I may kind of leave them at a certain place because we're not into the same things. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But it was a discovery process for me. And I had to be willing to address each area of my life that came up that was like, okay, been doing it like this. Now what? Now what do I want? It's all about me. And being able to be self-reflective and self-aware is your power. And it feels so good because you're not praying to something outside of yourself or going to someone outside of yourself and saying, tell me what to do. Who am I and what am I? You're saying maybe more so, help me be consistent with my change, be authentic with who I am becoming and who I'm meant to be, and help me get there. That is a big difference. That is a big difference than, saying, tell me what to do. You can tell yourself what to do, anything, but what are you going to tell yourself? What is going to be the story that you write yourself? Once upon a time, long ago, there was a 20-something-year-old, or there was a 30-something-year-old princess or queen or goddess or whatever, however you identify yourself. And she what? And then she what? And then she what? And then she lived happily ever after. It is up to you. It is up to you. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I kept the focus on me. And I talk a lot about my dating experience. It still was all about me. I did not let my experience with other grown-ass men define me, affect me, or change me, or alter my path. Either you can come along to get along, you can help me enhance my life, you can bring more happiness and a good time and everything in between, or you can get out of my way. That is your power. That is all that dating does for you. If I never got married, if I never had another baby, if I never had another serious relationship, I would still be my same fabulous self. I would still feel like the queen of my world. I would still feel beautiful. I would still feel deserving. I would still feel like life is worth living, and so on and so forth, etc., etc., etc. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? So in my experience, having that attitude, I didn't have to say that, but having that attitude made certain men say, "Whoa, okay, she's taking her seriously, so I'm not serious, then she's not going to take me seriously, and I don't want that." Because you're going to be in the friend zone. And nobody likes to be in the friend zone. So you have certain individuals treat you like you want to be treated because of how you think about yourself. And it's all these mental wavelengths that are going through the air that do this. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science, but it sounds very like out there, but all it takes is practice. So, all these different things are affected by your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions, and what you say you want and who you are. And that is what I did over years and years and years. And that is what got me to where I am today. And I know that I can keep going because I made it this far. And let me tell you the beauty of this. Sometimes when you're so focused on, okay, I have the goal and the strategy, you'll be so surprised as the blessings just appear, and you may not have, surprise, you know what I mean? Like, you got a bonus this and a surprise that, like, in these games when you roll over something and it's like extra coins or a boost or something. That's kind of how life goes, because you've already got this momentum and you're feeling so good, and you're like, okay, I'm third place. I like the direction I'm going. I'm feeling good. I'm going so fast. You're not racing everyone else, but it's a race against you and your progress. And I know I just said you're going to slow down and enjoy the process, but we're going to use this race analogy. So as these things are going along and, you know, your mindset is so positive, the other things are going to pop up in your life that are going to be like, here you go, because you've just been doing so good. And you're going to be like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's not what was in my plan or strategy and goals, but I'll take it. That's kind of what happened to me. I'll use this last example. I was renting my townhouse in Virginia, and I was proud that I could do that. When I tell you being able to, you know, make 3 times the rent, have nothing standing in my way as far as my credit, my income was the biggest thing. You know, the amount of pay stubs you need, the whole application process. I had some doubts, but I was trying to stay positive of could I qualify on my own without a cosigner or anybody coming to help me, my mama, my uncle, my grandma, because of, you know, where I had been before. Could I do this on my own? And that was a big deal. That was a big deal for me. Not because I had been bad with my money, but because I had gotten out of a crazy relationship. I was resetting myself financially, reestablishing myself on my own 2 feet. And I had essentially gotten back into the workforce after some years. So I got approved. The day that I was sitting in my lawyer's office going over my plan to renegotiate my child support amount, because he had finagled some things and he had lowballed me. And I'm like, I am not taking $600 a month. You make more than that. So I was in that battle, and I had so many other things going on in my mind. And a matter of fact, it was the beginning of COVID, but right before everyone was like, you got to quarantine and wear a mask. And I was in her office, and I saw my phone go off, and I was like, oh my God, this is the property management company. And she's like, well, you know, take it and I'll get your paperwork. I was like, okay, yes, thank you so much. I need to take this call. And the anxiety that I felt, and I was like, please tell me I got it. And he was like, you were approved. You were the 3rd person that applied and you got approved. And I just was just a bucket of tears. And I'll never forget that day, because I was like, 3 times the charm. What's for me is going to be for me. And I don't even know how I did it, but I got it. And she was like, this is a sign. She was like, you know, everything's going to be okay. And she hugged me, and I walked out of that office feeling like this is my life. Now, if I'm going to feel that brand new about a rental, I was like, and one day I'm going to be a homeowner. Can't tell me nothing. I don't know how. I don't know when. But nursing school is down the line. You know, nurses make XYZ to buy a house in Northern Virginia. You know, you need about 250 plus to get somewhere decent. I was like, but I'll figure it out. One day that's going to be another goal. The prices have, you know, gone up so much that you got to have your mess together. So just thinking that how would I ever get to a point where I could qualify for such a large home, you know, such a large mortgage was weighing over me. But I was like, you know, one day I'll get there. I mean, my fiance, he owns a home. He gives me his house, basically, the keys, the garage lock, and everything else in between. And it's in a neighborhood that I've absolutely always loved. The girls have an amazing playground. We have a pool. We have walking trails. And going back even before that, I had toured this golfing community, and I had just envisioned myself there. And that's where Autumn School was. And I was just like, one day I just want to feel this. And even though I'm not there yet, I will be, and it feels so good. Point blank, period. All these moving pieces, all of the fact that he walked up to me, the fact that he even bought at the time that he did, the fact that he picked out all these features that are just so my vibe anyway, high ceilings and big windows and you know, and the fact that I was the woman that blah, 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 and the fact that, you know, all of these moving pieces that were working in the background years before I even knew him, and years before I was even thinking about all of these other things, still brought me to the same one goal of one day I want to be a homeowner. So I didn't have to buy my house. I didn't have to wait till I finished nursing school, got my feet wet, got my first couple of paychecks, requalified and all this other stuff that, you know, 2 years out from let me see. I was going to start nursing school in 2022. All of the moving pieces that needed to bring me back to the one goal. That is what you have the very potential to create and call into your life depending on your goals. So it's not going to be the same thing, but it could be, I've always wanted to go to Spain. And you just hold on to that. You've seen beautiful postcards and pictures and documentaries and YouTube travelers sharing their experience and the top 10 things to do when you go to Spain and Black people's experience in Spain and the best places for Black people to go and traveling with your kids to Spain and family friendly things to do in Spain. I'm throwing out, all these examples, but it brings you back to the feeling of how you would have so much fun in Spain. You don't know how you're going to get there. You never even looked into the prices of this and that, but somehow, some way, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe a week from now, or 6 weeks from now, or 6 months from now, or even 6 years. It doesn't matter. You know it's coming because somebody says, girl, guess what? We're doing a destination wedding and, we're going to Spain. So all you have to do is get your plane ticket and join us. And you're going to be like, wow, there's my opportunity. Or you meet someone that says, I've always wanted to go to Spain. You want to go to Spain? Or there's some type of travel group that has some crazy affordable rate. And you're like, this is my opportunity to go to Spain. It happens like that. And it doesn't necessarily come from you like, okay, you can plot out things and be very strategic and to get the things that you want in life. But sometimes these surprises come. Why? Because you're deserving. Why? Because you're doing your inner work. Why? Because what makes you feel good, what makes you light up, and what is good for you can only come to you if you believe it and if you're living a life that represents that and reflects that. Because if you always say you want to go to Spain one day, but you carry negative energy and you're afraid of flying and travel, that don't match. You're afraid. You've always wanted to go to Spain, but you're dating someone who is very controlling, don't see the point of travel, doesn't even have his passport, and wouldn't let you go even if you could. That don't match. You've always wanted to go to Spain, but you don't even have a passport. You don't know anything about Spain. You never actually even looked into why you want to go to Spain. I just want to go to Spain. That don't match. You got to be like, you got to be in it and you got to feel it and you got to work it. So in my example, no, I wasn't always looking at the market and looking at, buying, but I was decorating the shit out of my townhouse. And I was like, this is home. This is the vibe. This is, I'm painting, I'm wallpapering, and I'm enjoying this rental as if it was my own. I'm enjoying being safe and secure as if this was the house that I owned. I love my community as if this was my forever community. I feel safe and whether the rent goes up or not, or, he decides to sell on me, I'm just going to be in the present and be thankful that I can pay my rent. And whether it goes up or not, I'm going to ride this thing out. That was my mindset. I wasn't in there like, oh my God, I can't afford the rent. Oh my God. And the market will never be what I need it to be. And I just wish I could be a homeowner one day. And, this is so depressing because the rent's going up and blah, 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 blah. No, I paid that rent like it was my mortgage. Like, there you go. We set. We good for another month. You know what I mean? Pay utilities. Ain't nothing getting cut off over here. You know what I mean? Like the pride and the vibe. So you got to make sure that as you are going along on your self-care journey, your self-love journey, you're keeping yourself as a focus. You're keeping your energy high. You're staying positive and keeping in sight the things that you say that you want so that you can be ever creating the life that you want, whether you know it or not, whether you're actively working toward it or not, because things are always moving. The seasons are changing, whether we think about it or not. Now, if nature can flow that way, how can it not be that things in your life do not work that way? And even the Bible talks about these examples of, things that are going on in the spiritual world, whether you understand it or not. You definitely can't see it. You definitely don't even understand half the stuff they're talking about. this, what the archangels are doing, what these other beings are doing, how they come back and forth, and these beings just praise God all day long, and these ones come over here doing miracles, and these ones over here sending messages, and these are these guardian angels, okay, and then you got these ones over here fighting Satan and his demons and legion. Christians believe that this stuff goes on every day in the unseen world, back and forth between heaven and hell and earth, and even in the, and it don't seem to make a bit of sense, but it is their truth. But in nature, things go on whether you see it or understand it or not. Decomposing, things growing, things being formed, meteors coming into this realm, new stars being created. All these things that they say go on, what's going on in the deep sea, creatures and things we've never even heard of, just existing and being and living. Okay, so I get on a roll, but it's these type of analogies that help you, like, okay, because if that can be on that level, about some animals and plants and spirits and angels, then you mean to tell me you are not just as in the loop of all that magic and wonder and awe? I think not. Especially if you believe that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Especially if you believe that you are a queen and you are loved and you are highly favored. You gotta bring it back down. You gotta tell yourself these things, because so much in this world has been designed to keep us blind, keep us in this sheep mode, in this flock mode, as if, we can't be individuals and we can't have, what our deepest desires are. Okay. So I hope this video is encouraging. I still went over my 30-minute mark, but that's okay. I hope this video, like I said, really just simplifies some things. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to clarify. And until the next one, good luck to you. Do something for yourself today. Write something down. Put a date on it. Speak love and life into your life. Look in the mirror and say, you are it, you are she. And I love you. Good luck to you. Peace. Bye.